Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the year 2026, the year where everything can change if you decide to make it so. You've lived through enough by now to know no one is coming to save you. No magic button, no perfect timing, no flawless plan. The only thing that's going to transform your life this year is you. You, rebuilding yourself piece by piece, day by day, no matter what it takes. Let's stop pretending 2026 is some generic fresh start. It's not just a calendar flip, it's a line in the sand. And if you've been waiting, if you've been procrastinating, if you've been hiding behind your past or your excuses or your fear, this is it. This is the year you stop surviving and start rebuilding. And I mean rebuilding. Mentally, emotionally, physically, financially, spiritually. Tear down the outdated version of yourself. The version stuck in guilt, stuck in comfort, stuck in autopilot. You're not here to live life on loop. You're here to evolve. You're here to build a version of you that's aligned with your potential, not your patterns. But let me be real with you. Rebuilding isn't sexy. It's not glamorous. It's hard. It's quiet. It's lonely. And most days, you won't feel like doing it. But that's the moment you step into your power when you choose to act anyway. 2026 is not about resolutions. It's about resets. It's about calling yourself out and saying, I'm done settling. I'm done talking. I'm done wishing. Rebuilding means you rewrite the narrative not just in your head, but in your habits. You want a different outcome? Then build a different structure. That means boundaries. That means discipline. That means doing what needs to be done long after the motivation fades. Motivation is fleeting. Commitment is everything. Look, you don't rebuild a life in one day, but you start in one day. You start by doing the thing you've been avoiding. The email, the workout, the apology, the resume, the journal entry, the dream you buried. That one step, that's the blueprint. And let's talk about fear for a second, because fear is going to show up every single time you try to grow. That's normal, but fear doesn't get to drive this year. Fear doesn't pay your bills. Fear doesn't change your life. So don't let it hold the pen while you rewrite your story. Your old life will beg for your attention. It'll whisper, come back. Come back to the comfort. Come back to the familiar pain. But you don't rebuild a life by returning to what broke you. You rebuild it by choosing the discomfort of growth over the safety of stagnation. You know what else? Stop waiting to feel ready. You're never going to feel ready. And guess what? That's your sign to go anyway. Ready is a myth. The only way you become ready is by doing the thing that scares the hell out of you. Let me ask you something. Who are you building this next version of yourself for? For your kids? For your future? For that dream you keep pushing off? Good. Hold on to that. Because on the hard days, and they will come, that's what's going to keep you going. And while you're rebuilding, protect your energy like it's gold. Because it is. Cut off distractions. Let go of people who drain you. Stop over-explaining yourself. You don't need permission to grow. You don't need to shrink to be liked. You are allowed to rebuild as loudly or quietly as you need to. The world is already full of people who gave up on themselves. Don't be one of them. Be the one who got tired of their own excuses and did something about it. Be the one who decided 2026 was no longer going to be just another year. Be the one who said, I'm tearing down the old and I'm building something better. Brick by brick, day by day, choice by choice. So when the year ends, and you look in the mirror, I want you to see someone you rebuilt, someone who chose growth, someone who finally showed up for their own life. 2026 is not a repeat, it's a revolution. Let it start with you. 2026 is not just another year marked by a new calendar or a fresh journal page. It is a moment in time that demands a decision, a deliberate break from the cycle of postponement and passive living. This year isn't asking for perfection. It's not about grand declarations or waiting for the right time. It's about waking up and choosing every single day to stop hitting snooze on your potential. Because here's the truth. No one is coming. No one is going to suddenly show up and fix your life. That job belongs to you. So many people are waiting for motivation, waiting for clarity, waiting for a sign. But let's get real. Waiting is a choice. It's a silent decision to stay stuck. And stuck becomes a lifestyle if you don't interrupt it with action. 2026 is tapping you on the shoulder and asking, are you going to keep pressing pause on your potential, or are you finally going to hit play?
You don't need a full plan. You don't need to know every step. You just need a decision, one powerful decision to move forward, one decision to not go back to the version of you that's comfortable but miserable. One decision to say, I may not have it all figured out, but I'm not staying here anymore. When you look around, you'll see people coasting through life like it's some kind of dress rehearsal. Newsflash, this is it. This is the show. You don't get a second run, and every day you spend waiting is a day you could have been building. You think you have time, but you don't. You think next month will be better, or next week you'll feel more ready, but here's the thing. There's no magic switch that makes you ready. You become ready by deciding to start. 2026 is the year that separates the talkers from the doers. The ones who live on Instagram, quotes and inspiration, reels from the ones who decide to live the kind of life that others will quote one day. If you want change, you have to choose it, and you have to keep choosing it, even on the days it's hard, even on the days it's boring, even on the days you feel like a fraud. You're not rebuilding your life from a place of weakness. You're rebuilding it because somewhere inside you, there's a voice that knows you're made for more. And you've been silencing that voice for too long. You've been distracting yourself, numbing yourself, blaming circumstances. But that voice, it's still there, and it's time to let it speak louder than your fear. Make no mistake, a decision isn't just a thought. It's a commitment. It's a line in the sand. It's what you do when motivation disappears, and it will. That decision becomes your anchor. When you feel overwhelmed, come back to that decision. When you fail, and yes, you will fail, come back to that decision. When people doubt you, when you doubt yourself, when the process feels endless, come back to that decision. Rebuilding your life doesn't require a miracle. It requires a moment. One honest moment where you stop pretending and start acting. One moment where you say, I'm done with the excuses. Not because it's a new year, but because you're finally ready to take responsibility for the life you want. Not the life you inherited, not the life you tolerated, but the life you choose. Your job this year isn't to impress anybody. It's to align your actions with your potential. It's to prove to yourself that you can do hard things, that you can show up when it's inconvenient, that you can stay the course when no one's clapping for you. This isn't about aesthetics or performance. It's about becoming the person you were supposed to be before the world told you to shrink, to wait, to doubt. So what if the journey is messy? So what if people don't get it? You're not rebuilding your life for applause. You're rebuilding because staying the same is no longer tolerable, because the pain of staying stuck has finally outweighed the fear of change. Let 2026 be the year you stop lying to yourself about what's possible. The year you stop calling fear realism. The year you stop mistaking hesitation for safety. Nothing about your comfort zone is actually comfortable. It's just familiar, and familiar isn't the same as right. Sometimes the most powerful thing you can do is walk away from everything that's kept you small. There will be days when you want to quit. That's part of it. There will be days when you question everything. That's normal, but don't let a temporary emotion make a permanent decision. Your feelings are not facts. Your future is not fixed, and your past doesn't get to define your next chapter unless you let it. Make this year the year you stop collecting motivation and start building momentum. Make it the year you trade passive consumption for intentional action. You don't need to be fearless. You need to be brave enough to act while you're afraid. Because here's the truth, 2026 is going to pass, whether you rebuild or not, whether you grow or not, whether you step up or stay down, and at the end of it, You'll either be proud of the decision you made, or you'll wish you had made it sooner. So decide, not tomorrow, not next week, right now. Decide that you are done shrinking. Decide that this is your time, and then show up for that decision every single day. That's how you rebuild. That's how you rise. That's how you make 2026 the year everything changes. You don't need permission to rebuild. You don't need a perfect plan, someone's approval, or a green light from the universe. What you need is a decision. What you need is to stop looking outward for answers you already carry within you. Because here's the truth, no one is coming to give you permission to change your life. It's yours to change, and the moment you realize that, you stop waiting and you start building. There's a moment in every person's life where they have to decide, do I keep living the way I've always lived, thinking the way I've always thought, or do I interrupt the pattern and make a change, and that moment is not loud? It's not flashy. It doesn't come with fanfare. It's quiet, it's personal, and it's powerful. That moment is called choice. And rebuilding starts the minute you realize that no one else gets to choose for you anymore. Let me tell you what happens when you wait for permission. Life passes you by, dreams fade, motivation dies, confidence shrinks. You convince yourself that someday will arrive with a big neon sign that says, now you're ready, but someday is a lie. It never shows up unless you do. Life doesn't wait for you to feel confident. It moves forward, with or without you. The only thing that moves you from where you are to where you want to be is action born out of a decision. You don't rebuild by waiting for perfect timing. You rebuild by creating momentum in imperfect conditions. And most of the time, you're going to feel unqualified. You're going to feel uncertain. You're going to question if you're even capable. But guess what? That's not a sign to stop. It's a sign to begin. It's a sign that you are stepping out of the comfort zone and into the unknown. And the unknown, that's where the growth lies. That's where you build strength, grit, and a version of yourself that doesn't need validation to keep going. You want a new life. You want a new mindset. You want a breakthrough. Then stop waiting for someone to tell you it's okay to evolve. Stop waiting for someone to notice your pain and tell you it's time to heal. Stop needing everyone to understand your process before you take the first step. You don't need a crowd to rebuild. Most people won't get it, and that's okay. You're not rebuilding for them, you're rebuilding for you. And yes, there will be people who don't like your progress. People who liked you better when you were small, silent, or stuck. People who will try to guilt you back into comfort. Don't let them. Their discomfort is not your responsibility. Your life is not a group project. You owe no one an explanation for deciding to level up. Because when you finally realize that you are allowed to change without consensus, you free yourself from the prison of approval. You are not here to live out someone else's version of your life. You're not here to stay predictable, palatable, or easy to understand. You are here to evolve, to disrupt the narrative you've been handed, to write a new one that reflects your truth, not your trauma. And that begins the second you stop asking for permission and start claiming your power. Let me be clear, giving yourself permission isn't just about making bold moves. It's about giving yourself grace too. It's saying, I'm allowed to fail. I'm allowed to be new at this. I'm allowed to take up space, to change directions, to let go of what no longer fits. You don't need permission to start over. You don't need permission to choose peace, to outgrow old patterns, to dream again. You are not stuck unless you decide to be, and rebuilding, it doesn't require a total reinvention overnight. It requires consistent, intentional shifts. One step, one change, one uncomfortable but necessary decision at a time. You don't need to burn everything down, but you do need to stop watering dead plants. Stop feeding habits that drain you. Stop entertaining narratives that keep you locked in fear. And start creating an environment where growth is not just possible, it's inevitable. Here's the part most people avoid. Rebuilding means you have to own your role in your own stuckness. It means being honest about what you've tolerated, what you've delayed, what you've believed that's held you back. It's tough work, it's uncomfortable, but that self-honesty, that's your superpower. That's how you stop repeating and start rebuilding. You don't need to earn the right to improve your life. You were born with that right. You don't need a list of achievements to be worthy of more. You are worthy right now, even with the flaws, even with the failures, even with the past you wish you could rewrite. Your power is not in being perfect. It's in being willing to try again, willing to believe again, willing to act even when you're scared. Stop asking for permission to evolve. Stop playing small because you're afraid someone might be uncomfortable with your growth. You are not responsible for protecting other people's comfort zones. You are responsible for stepping into your purpose. And that takes guts, that takes resolve, that takes a level of commitment that doesn't flinch when things get messy. So the question isn't, are you ready? The question is, are you willing? Willing to trust yourself. Willing to bet on yourself. Willing to show up before you feel qualified. Because that's how you rebuild, not with permission, but with power. This is your year. Not because it's written in the stars, but because you decided it will be. Now act like it. If your mindset doesn't change, nothing else will. You can get a new job, move to a new city, start a new relationship, or read every self-help book on the planet. But if the way you think stays the same, you'll recreate the same problems in new places. You can't outrun your thoughts. You can't escape your patterns by changing your surroundings. Real transformation starts in your mind. It starts with what you believe about yourself, about your potential, about what's possible for your life. We are all living in the stories we tell ourselves. And if the story in your head is full of fear, doubt, shame, or excuses, then those are the ingredients you're building your life with. You cannot build a powerful life with a powerless mindset. That's the truth. If you believe you're not worthy, you'll act like it. If you believe you're too broken, you'll stay stuck. If you believe change is too hard, you'll never try. The mind is the command center. Everything you do flows from what you think. The problem is, most people don't even realize the thoughts they live by aren't facts, they're just rehearsed negativity, rehearsed limitation. Rehearsed fear. Somewhere along the way, you picked up beliefs that were never yours to begin with from your upbringing, your environment, your experiences, and instead of challenging those thoughts, you accepted them as truth. But they are not. Your thoughts are not always right. Your mind is not always on your side. In fact, most of the time, your brain is wired to keep you safe, not successful. Safe means familiar, and familiar means staying exactly where you are, even if it's hurting you. Changing your mindset means declaring that you are no longer available for the lies you've believed. It means catching yourself in the act of limitation. It means asking, is this thought helping me or hurting me? And if it's hurting you, you replace it. Not with fluffy affirmations, but with grounded truth. You remind yourself that you are capable even if you feel scared. You remind yourself that growth is supposed to feel uncomfortable. You remind yourself that your thoughts don't get to run the show unless you let them. Most people are sleepwalking through their lives, trapped by invisible scripts running in their minds. I'm not good enough. I always mess things up. Nothing ever works out for me. And guess what? If that's the script playing in your mind, your actions will follow it. You'll subconsciously sabotage opportunities. You'll downplay your skills. You'll hesitate. You'll procrastinate. You'll stay small not because you have to, but because your mindset convinced you that you should. This is why people stay stuck, not because they're lazy, not because they're incapable, but because their mindset is pulling them back like an anchor. You cannot rise with a mind that is constantly dragging you down. You can't live powerfully if you're constantly thinking powerlessly. The way you think shapes the way you feel. The way you feel shapes the way you act, and the way you act, that's what builds your life. So how do you start to shift it? With awareness? Awareness is the first step in any transformation. You've got to be honest with yourself about the thoughts you're thinking. Start paying attention to your inner dialogue. Start noticing the patterns. Start noticing how often you talk yourself out of things. Start noticing how quick you are to expect the worst. That voice in your head. It's not you, it's the conditioning you've absorbed. And you have the power to rewrite it. Changing your mindset isn't about being positive all the time. It's about being productive with your thinking. It's about choosing thoughts that move you forward, not keep you stuck. It's about practicing mental discipline, the ability to notice a disempowering thought and not entertain it . That's the real work. That's the kind of inner strength no one can take from you, and don't expect your mindset to change overnight. This is daily work. Just like you train your body, you train your mind. Every day you remind yourself of who you are becoming. You feed your brain thoughts that support your vision. You read things that challenge you. You surround yourself with voices that build you. And when the old thoughts show up, and they will, you don't panic. You pause, you breathe, and you choose differently. That's how the change happens. Slowly, then suddenly, one new thought at a time, one shift in perspective, one refusal to believe the lie, and as your mindset expands, so does your life. You stop settling, you stop self-sabotaging. You start showing up with confidence, with clarity, with conviction. Not because everything is perfect, but because you know how to lead yourself through imperfection. The most powerful thing you will ever learn is that your mind is your responsibility. No one else can do that work for you, but the moment you commit to changing how you think, everything else becomes possible. Your habits shift, your relationships improve, your decisions become bolder. Your vision becomes clearer. You don't need to change the world to rebuild your life. You need to change how you see yourself in it. Because when your mindset shifts, the world responds, and that's when the magic starts. That's when your life begins to reflect your growth, not by accident but by choice, not because of luck but because you finally did the work that no one else could do for you. Change your mind and you change everything. It's easy to scroll through social media and feel inspired for a few seconds. You tap on a quote, save a video, nod your head like, yeah, that's me. But then what happens? You go right back to the same habits, the same doubts, the same routines that are keeping you stuck. Let's be honest, inspiration without action is just entertainment. If you're constantly consuming motivation and not doing anything with it, you're not actually growing, you're avoiding the real work. Motivation feels good. It gives you that quick hit of energy, that moment where everything feels possible, but it's fleeting. It disappears the second reality shows up, when you're tired, when things get messy. When no one is watching, that's when you find out whether you're truly committed or just temporarily excited. Because real change doesn't happen in a motivational reel, it happens in the boring, gritty, unglamorous decisions you make when it's hard. If you want to educate yourself every day, it can't just be an emotional thing. It has to be a discipline. That means showing up on the days you don't feel like it. It means doing the reading, watching the tutorial, asking the hard questions, taking the course even when you're tired, even when you're doubting yourself, especially then. Discipline is what turns a moment of inspiration into a lifestyle of transformation. Let me tell you what most people do. They chase the next hit of motivation like it's a drug. They think if they just find the right speaker, the perfect video, the most powerful quote, they'll take action. But they don't, because they've trained themselves to rely on external hype instead of internal habits. If you want to build a powerful, educated, self-directed life, you've got to flip that script. You've got to stop relying on outside energy to fuel your inner fire. You have to become the source, and that's the tough part. Because becoming your own source of motivation means taking responsibility. It means admitting that no one's going to save you, that the life you want isn't going to magically appear. That if you want it, you have to build it, brick by brick, book by book, lesson by lesson. That's what daily education is, a commitment to growing, even when no one's clapping for you, even when no one sees what you're doing. Even when progress feels invisible, motivation says, I feel like doing this today. Discipline says, I'll do it anyway. Motivation is the spark. Discipline is the fire. Motivation gets you started. Discipline keeps you going. You don't need more hype, you need more habits. You want to learn a new skill? Great. Schedule it. Put it on your calendar. Make it non-negotiable. Treat it like a meeting with your future self. Because that's exactly what it is, and don't wait until you feel ready. That feeling isn't coming. You don't become confident before you take action. You become confident because you take action. And every time you show up even a little, you prove to yourself that you can be trusted. And here's the beautiful part. Discipline creates momentum. The more you show up, the easier it gets to keep showing up. The more you learn, the more curious you become. The more curious you become, the more confident you get. And suddenly, what once felt impossible is just part of your normal. That's how change sneaks up on you. Quietly, through consistency, not through one giant leap, but through thousands of small steps stacked over time. But let's not sugarcoat it. This is hard. It's hard to stay disciplined when no one's holding you accountable. It's hard to keep learning when progress feels slow. It's hard to show up every day when results don't come right away. But that's why most people don't do it. That's why it's called personal development because it's personal. No one else can walk the path for you, but that's also what makes it powerful, because when you stay the course, when you keep showing up, you become someone unstoppable. You become someone who doesn't just rely on inspiration, you create it. And you know what? When you're disciplined, people notice, not right away, but over time, your growth becomes undeniable. You start to stand out not because you're flashy, but because you're consistent. While others are still talking about what they're going to do, you're quietly becoming excellent, quietly getting smarter, stronger, more resilient, and that kind of discipline that changes everything. So stop chasing the high of motivation. Start committing to the habit of discipline. Wake up and ask, what can I learn today? Then go learn it, not because someone told you to, not because it's exciting, but because you made a decision to be the kind of person who shows up for your goals. This is how you educate yourself every day, not through hype, but through habits, not through waiting, but through working, not through emotion, but through execution. Decide who you want to become, then act like it, day in, day out. That's the real secret. That's how you grow. That's how you win. Learning never ends. It's not something you graduate from. It's not something you outgrow once you get the diploma, the promotion, the title. It's a lifelong commitment to expansion. The moment you think you know enough, that's the moment you start falling behind. Because the world is moving faster than ever, and the people who succeed, who thrive, who lead, are the ones who never stop learning. It doesn't matter if you're 18 or 80, every single day presents an opportunity to learn something new. But here's the problem, most people don't see it that way. They think learning is what happens in school, in a course, in a formal setting, but learning is everywhere. It's in the book you haven't read yet, the conversation you're too distracted to fully hear, the feedback you brushed off, the failure you didn't want to analyze. If you're paying attention, the world is always teaching you something. The question is, are you open enough to receive it? There's this myth that smart people already know it all. But the truth is, the smartest people are the ones who admit how much they don't know. They're curious, they ask questions, they challenge assumptions. They stay humble because they understand that mastery isn't a destination, it's a mindset. It's a way of showing up in the world with the willingness to evolve, adapt, and improve. You want to stay relevant in a world that's changing every day. Keep learning. The skills that got you here may not be the skills that take you there. What worked 5 years ago might not work today. That strategy you relied on, that mindset you've always carried, that routine you've followed forever, all of that may need to shift, and the only way to know what to hold on to and what to release is to stay in learning mode. Lifelong learners don't wait until things break to get curious. They don't resist change, they lean into it. They look at every new challenge as a chance to stretch themselves, not just professionally, but personally. They understand that growth is not about being perfect, it's about being progressive, about being willing to improve a little bit every day. That's what separates the stagnant from the successful. And let's be real, this isn't just about your job. This is about your mindset, your relationships, your health, your happiness. The more you learn, the more you understand yourself. You start seeing your patterns. You recognize your triggers. You become aware of your blind spots. That kind of self-awareness. That's asterisk power. Asterisk, that's what allows you to lead better, love better, live better. Learning keeps you awake. It keeps you sharp. It keeps you in motion. But learning isn't always comfortable. In fact, the best lessons often come wrapped in discomfort. In failure, in mistakes, in moments where you feel like everything's falling apart. And most people miss those lessons because they're too busy trying to avoid the pain. But if you can shift your mindset and see failure as a teacher, not a punishment, you unlock a whole new level of growth. Every time something doesn't go your way, ask, asterisk, what is this trying to teach me? Asterisk, that's how lifelong learners move. They don't get stuck in the setback, they mine it for wisdom. It also means staying coachable. Too many people let their ego block their evolution. They don't want to hear the hard truth. They don't want to admit they might be wrong. But growth requires humility. It requires feedback. It requires putting yourself in rooms where you're not the smartest person on purpose. Because that's how you stretch. That's how you get better. Iron sharpens iron, and the people who are truly committed to learning surround themselves with others who challenge them to rise. And guess what? You don't need a degree or a classroom to keep learning. You've got a library in your pocket. You've got access to more knowledge than any generation before you. Podcasts, audiobooks, online courses, interviews, TED Talks. If you're not learning, it's not because you can't, it's because you've chosen not to. The tools are there. The information is there. The only thing missing might be your discipline. Carve out time for it. Make learning part of your routine. Even 10 minutes a day can change everything. Read a chapter, watch a lesson, reflect on a conversation. The goal isn't to consume everything, it's to apply something. You don't have to know it all to grow. You just have to be engaged. Learning is a habit. Build it like one. Protect it like one. Prioritize it like your future depends on it, because it does. And don't wait for a crisis to start growing. Too many people wait until life forces them to learn through loss, through failure, through burnout. But if you stay ready, you don't have to get ready. Be proactive. Be intentional. Become the kind of person who's always a few steps ahead because you chose to invest in yourself before you had to. You don't age out of learning. You don't get too successful for growth. If anything, the more you succeed, the more you need to stay hungry, stay curious, stay open. Because that's how you protect your momentum. That's how you proof your potential. That's how you stay alive, not just breathing, but evolving. So no, learning isn't something you do when it's convenient. It's a lifestyle. It's a mindset. It's a decision you make every single day to be better, to know more, to do more, to grow, not because you're not good enough, but because you you can be even more. Keep learning, keep rising. That's how you stay unstoppable.